right, 7 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Kim, can you start with the roll call, please?
Bernie Friedrich is absent. Adam Hemken.
Here.
Andrea Corey.
Here.
Kelly Moyer.
Here.
Greg Meyer.
Here.
Lisa Schumacher.
Here.
Tyson Search.
Here.
All right, that establishes a quorum. If you'd all stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hey, welcome to our two visitors now. Thank you for joining us this evening. Got some correspondence going around?
I don't believe so.
Nope, okay. No correspondence. Maybe you'd like to make a public comment? It's one of the two U's, it's the only option here, so. All right. And we'll move right on to the business part of our meeting, and we'll start with our consent agenda. Dr. Cody,
Yes,
please walk us through that.
Got all of your normal reports there. We've got two resignations. Jamie Bridges is resigning from the after prom sponsor, and so we have a name actually to fill that today. And Laura Simmons is resigning from the cross country co-coach. They have co-coaches on that. We're assuming the other co-coach is going to cover that. If not, we will be looking for a cross country coach next month. But right now, we've got those two resignations. We've got two hires. Stephanie Nelson, Eagle View, is our new nurse at Eagle View healthcare provider. And Addie DeQuazy, she is graduating and is going to become one of our Eagle Zone adult workers. So that's a good thing because we're always looking for more Eagle Zone people. It's one of those hard to fill positions. We've got a extracurricular assignments. Jessica Packard has stepped up and said that she is willing to do the after prom to be the advisor for that. And as I said, Mrs. Simmons was a co-coach, so we don't really need to fill that position right now. We'll see what happens. And Duncan Van Brusken's a name we need to add. I was told today, volunteer baseball. He's going to be one of our volunteers, so it'll be an unpaid position, but I just want you aware that Duncan Van Brusken's going to volunteer for the baseball. No vacancies, as I said, and so administration recommends that you approve the consent agenda as presented.
Perfect. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Andrea. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Tyson. Roll call, please.
Adam Hemken.
Yes.
Andrea Corey.
Yes.
Kelly Moyer.
Yes.
Craig Meyer.
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher.
Yes.
Tyson Search.
Perfect. I'll move on to our communication reports and presentations. Enrollment report is in your packet. We'll go on to our building report. Mr. Reeves, so kind to join us this evening.
Welcome. Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
Hello.
Just a couple things to highlight from the high school. Up here we have our four most recent students of the month. The category was it was generosity. We have Parker Kish, Will Kleinschmidt, Jameson Myers, and Haley Suri, all representing our last month for generosity. And then our next slide, we have a couple different. We have a couple from our band and choir concert from last Monday, Tuesday. Ours was Tuesday, but the middle school was also Monday. Great performances by them all. And we're in our sports season, another sports season, I should say, winter. Our girls placed second in our Columbia Tip-Off Classic, and the boys team won at West Glen. Our bowlers are in full swing. Our Scholar Bowl team is in full swing. Our cheer team had their first competition this past Sunday, so they're not only performing at games but doing competitions on the weekends. So really active with sports. I added one more, I think, and then we recently had 23 seniors announced as Illinois State Scholars, and Illinois State Scholars, they're chosen based on SAT, ACT scores, their class rank, and then they have to be in the top 10% of Illinois high school graduates. So if they meet all that criteria, they could be selected for the Illinois State Scholar, and we had 23, which I think is a good number. We have one more day of session of school. At the high school, we have final exams. So it's been a hectic few days with exams going on, but hopefully wrap up pretty smoothly tomorrow.
I second that.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our Assistant Superintendent's report. Dr. Gainey.
Good evening, everyone. One of our favorite parts of the evening are district shout-outs. We are going to start, since we have the high school here, with our high school shout-out. That is Mrs. Grant. She was nominated by the staff at CHS. The staff shares that in our downtime, I encourage seniors to reminisce about all the good things that have happened over the last 4 years. On most days, they need a prompt. One day, I asked what teacher was able to match their learning style best, and by the end, it was unanimous that Mrs. Grant was the one. Many other names were mentioned for obvious reasons, but the second one of them said, "What about Mrs. Grant and her notes pages?" They all agreed the classes were organized and they felt like they knew exactly what to review for any upcoming assessment. Big shout out to Mrs. Grant at the high school. Then we have Mr. Dave Jackson. He's our second photo. I will share, I aspire to take a photo like that before I retire. That truly is Mr. Dave Jackson in a picture. Every time I'm at the middle school and I interact with him, he brings forth the energy that I have never experienced before with one of our paras. CMS says a big round of applause for Mr. Jackson. His upbeat attitude and contagious positivity make CMS a brighter place every day. Whether he's stepping in as a last-minute sub, rocking the role of Santa the Barbarian at the band concert, or faithfully serving as our crossing guard rain, snow, or shine, Mr. Jackson goes above and beyond for our students and staff. Thank you for all that you do to keep us safe and smiling, Mr. Jackson. Our next person that we want to shout out at the district is from Parkview, Mrs. Robin Seiler. A shout out to our amazing school secretary. She is truly the heartbeat of Parkview. Robin is always positive and goes above and beyond to make our school exciting and fun for both staff and students. Whether it's answering phones, greeting parents, finding subs, or supporting teachers, posting positive news on social media, knowing what to order for Mr. Dugan's lunch, stepping in as a nurse or custodian, or even having the conversations with students about behaviors, she does it all with a smile. Not only does she manage all these tasks, but she also organizes our entire school fundraiser. Robin is a true rock star, and you never know if she was having a tough day because she always brings her best. Thank you, Robin, for everything you do. And our last shout out comes from Eagle View. Mrs. Crystal Brashears is one of our cooks at Eagle View. She is such a kind and patient person and builds relationships with everyone, and everyone is in all caps. She knew all of our students by name early in the year, and she is always supporting students and staff in the cafeteria. She's also a talented crocheter and has made some gifts for students and staff. And we can account for that because we got one today, didn't we, Dr. Grody?
We did.
Huge shout out. We have amazing staff as always, and we're proud to be an Eagle. The next thing I wanted to share is some work that we're doing at the high school. Mr. Reeves can vouch. I have been at the high school often lately. One of the things we're most excited about is our CCPE plan. That is our College and Career Pathway Endorsement, which is something that the governor brought a few years ago. But now it's time to really get this pathway enacted for our students. What Mr. Reeves and I have been talking about is we have a lot of dual credit, college credit opportunities, but really we don't have those transitional pathways, and that is what a CCPE plan would do. It would give a level 1 course, a level 3 or 4 course, and then it would put an endorsement on their transcripts to hopefully make them more marketable and possibly a vocation of their choice. We need to start having these conversations even at the middle school, but right now we're focusing at the high school. Mr. Frisch, I'm not going to make him speak, but I'm glad he is here. He's one of our amazing vocational teachers. He is going to be instrumental in getting the CCPE off the ground and running here in Columbia. We're hoping to do our first pathway as construction. And really we have everything set up. We're just going to try to connect with some construction companies in Columbia. That is the last part. We need to get them some work-based experience. We also are partnering with SWIC to see what we can do. And you might notice there's the Waterloo Bulldog and the DuPo mascot on there as well, which I'll talk about in an action item. But DuPo is doing 2 pathways. One is for HVAC and one is for electrical. We did survey the students to see if there was an interest, and there is an interest to possibly take that pathway. So we're working, Mr. Reeves, myself, with DuPo to have some of our students possibly try those 2 pathways next year. And then Waterloo reached out because they heard that we offer the EMR class for emergency responders. And they would like to possibly partner and work with us to do some type of cooperative and help their students have some of the opportunities that we're doing. So a lot of really good things are going on, and a lot of work at the high school. Right, Mr. Reeves?
That's right.
All right. Moving on, I have something else about the high school. We are transitioning from SAT to ACT. Really, this is not something that never happens. It really is a financial decision based upon the state. The state they go into the bidding process, and ACT won the bid this year for the duration of the contract. Because I feel like we have really started working and looking at our SIP, our school improvement plans, and our scores and doing some outcomes, ACT scores are important, and we want to make sure we're supporting our students and navigating how they're getting prepared. So Horizon Education is a program that districts in the area use. Muscuda is using it. Redbud is piloting it this year as well. We've been in communication with both, and we're going to bring it to Columbia. I have some PD for our ACT proctors, our teachers, on January 6th, so they'll be able to utilize this in their classroom and also use this for whomever is willing, I'm still looking for staff members, to possibly do an after-school program for the ACT prep. We did survey 107 juniors. When I say we, Mrs. Bedard helped me on that front, and out of the 107 juniors, there were quite a few that were interested in an after-school ACT prep program. So that's why I think it's important to work towards getting that done. This is on an action item as well. I did write this into our grant, so it is going to be funded with grant funding. It won't come out of local funds, but it is through a grant. But again, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great for our students and instructors, so I wanted to share it at the meeting tonight. Curriculum. As I've been sharing, we have been looking at social studies curriculum that has now grown to 2nd grade all the way up to 12th grade. We are reviewing 2 companies, TCI and McGraw-Hill. We've had 2 meetings with representatives from grade levels all the way from 2nd to 12th grade. I have virtual tours that will be scheduled for January 6th for all of our social studies reps to tour with a rep from both of these companies, and they can ask all of their questions digitally to them. And then we're going to come back together in February and hopefully have representatives from the companies personally come and talk about both of these products to then hopefully bring something to the board either March or April. That's kind of our plan, our timeline. I want to make sure anything new, you need to make sure you give that professional development, and if I can bring it March or April, that'll give me time to work with the teachers to get them fully informed on how to use it in their classrooms next year. I am so pumped about this. Mr. Reeves knows about this, and Dr. Gertie does as well. We have been working on team building, in particular with our administrative team. So we are working on an administration retreat June 9th through the 12th. We have lots of activities planned for those 4 days, some on campus, some off campus, and I'm pumped. It's going to be a great time, a great week, learning together and doing some activities to help the admin team come together and work on that team. And I also wanted to touch before I close tonight on book fairs. I think in October we started discussing book fairs, and there's been much discussion on policies and how to move forward. All 3 of our schools did have a fall book fair, but based upon conversations, we are not going to do an in-person book fair in the spring. There could be other options. We're going to continue the monthly book clubs, which I know we had talked about at the October meeting, to allow some discretion to be taken with parents at home as to what is being purchased. Everybody is moving forward with this. I just wanted to give you an update regarding book fairs. And I think that is it. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And off to our superintendent reports.
It's always interesting when we start talking about next year and administrative retreats and everything, because we are in that part of education where next month we'll be posting positions for next year, so we're already starting to think about the years ahead. I will say that I'm excited to announce that I think this is going to be the last time I speak of Link during my superintendent's report. They've got the historical data. There's been back and forth. We've been checking and everything, but we do have a salary report to approve tonight. We got the report this morning, and Kimberly Johnson was good enough to take each individual and enter it into the state system so that you would get the report you normally get. The salary report is literally what was spent in salaries for people from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. The numbers are accurate, and we really went through the history. And I am glad that Kimberly was able to get those all done today. I appreciate that immensely. I'm also extremely glad that in the first week of January, we've got meetings with them to make sure our W-2s and our ACAs are done correctly. The historical data was one of the key pieces to make sure that our W-2s would be done correctly. So next month is the W-2 time, and we want to make sure that all the taxes get to be done correctly. So I'm excited about Link being done. I got a FOIA request, and we don't get those very often. This was from FOIA Professional Services, a company. They asked for, there was a performance contract that we did, an RFP, that was due February 2020. I was not the superintendent during that time. This was, I believe, the high school HVAC units. So we looked for the RFP that they were asking for. We could not find the original RFP, but I was able to send and respond to them and explain that we did the search, and I gave them the contract with Train that was awarded, and I gave them the letter from FGM to Dr. Bueller, who reviewed with FGM the GRP WEGM, Train, Tremco, and CTS proposals. Those were the companies that came in and did the performance contracting, and then it was awarded. So anyway, I responded to it in a timely manner. I did call legal to make sure that, you know, what happens when you don't have the information, right? It's not where it's supposed to be, and we did our due diligence. We looked for it, and we couldn't find it, but we were able to give them what we have. And then just finally, we do have an executive session tonight to talk both about employment and student discipline. That's A and B on the agendas. But there is no action afterwards. So I just want to say to everybody during my report that I hope they have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe, be smart. And I can't believe tomorrow's the last day before second semester in January.
All right, well, thank you very much. Move on to our items for action. The first one is the approval for the tax levy for the year 2024.
Yes, and this has not changed any from last year. I've had no questions or comments about it. So the tentative levy that you guys approved last year, I'm requesting that you approve it again for this year, and I will make sure it gets dropped off at the courthouses tomorrow, both at Monroe and St. Clair.
Any discussion on the tax levy? Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the tax levy for the year 2024?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Andrew. Second?
I'll second.
I think he beat you out there, so
That's
Adam
fine.
seconds. Roll call, please.
Andrew Torrey?
Yes. Kelly Moyer?
Yes.
Greg Meyer?
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher?
Yes.
Tyson Search?
Yes.
Adam Hemken?
Yes.
Our next item is approval for the early graduates.
Yeah, 25 students. I think that is the record, or at least during my stretch here. When we had 25 students the last time. Anyway, we have 25 students that have met the criteria for graduation, and we recommend that the board approve those graduates as presented.
Any questions regarding the early graduates? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the early graduates?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Kelly. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Adam. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Just curious. All right, next item is the approval for the 2024 teacher administrator salary and benefit report that we just got.
Yes, you just got the information today, and I know it's lots of eyes have been on it and checked it and double checked it. It is, to my knowledge, very, very accurate. So administration recommends that the board approve the 2024 salary and benefits report. You'll be doing this again in July. No. We'll be having it
We'll
and
be
submitting
getting-
it in July.
Yeah.
But September is when this is normally done.
A little late, that's all right.
It's okay.
The system switch kind of made the, I'd rather have it right than have it rushed, so.
And I would like it both.
That's true. Any questions regarding the teacher administrative salary and benefit report? Hearing none, would you like to make a motion to approve this report?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Lisa. Second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Kelly Moyer,
Yes.
Greg Meyer,
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher,
Yes.
Tyson Search,
Yes.
Adam Hempkin,
Yes.
Andrea Corey.
Yes.
Thank you all. Next item is the approval for the Horizon Education Act assessment.
Yeah, and Dr. Gainey can speak more to this, but administration is recommending that the board approve the purchase of Horizon Education ACT assessment, and that's a 3-year contract amounting for a total cost of $47,992.50.
It's written into the grant, so it'll be fully funded. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, though.
The state is using ACT for the next 3 years, so it's not that it's gonna switch back to SAT and we're gonna have this ACT prep, so.
So the ACT is all they take? They don't do the the SAT anymore?
No, it is the ACT now. And the nice part about this program is it does transition. So if it does go back to SAT and we have the program and we think it's a quality program, then they just shift to SAT and then we can continue using the program to help with SAT prep.
Any other questions? All right, maybe you'd like to make a motion to approve the Horizon Education Act assessment purchase. Paid for by grant. Thank you, Tyson. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Roll call, please.
Greg Meyer,
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher,
Yes.
Tyson Search,
Yes.
Adam Hempkin,
Yes.
Andrea Corey,
Yes.
Kelly Moyer.
Yes.
All right, next item is E, the approval of the adding of the production tech and beginning electricity.
I must say, I love the fact that we have partnerships with the surrounding schools. You know, we have students from DuPont currently coming over for German. We send kids over there for ROTC. We've got the EMR class for the emergency medical response. And so what this is we, administration recommends the board approve adding production tech and beginning electricity to the course offerings at CHS, and those students would be taking that at DuPont. Questions, concerns?
Is that a state, I guess, created curriculum, or who comes up with that, the curriculum? I saw there was,
I'm going to defer that to either Brian or.
The curriculum for the CCPE is a pathway for them to get an endorsement. It's not necessarily a curriculum, correct?
Correct. A lot of times with these, and I don't want to put Mr. Frisch on the spot, but he does a production tech at the high school already. The curriculum is normally like from a CTE place, like from the vocational area. Like Mr. Frisch, you were talking about the curriculums that you are partnering with for construction.
Right,
It comes from the company, correct?
right.
The labor union?
Yes. Yeah.
From the workforce.
They actually produced three volume or 3-step textbook through their training, and they decided to look, and it's what high schools can use, and they offer more than just construction. They offer shop math, they offer this and all, but they make their own curriculum. It's up to us to choose what we can pick out of that to fit our, needs.
Yes.
I don't think we're creating curriculum. We're creating a specific pathway that the kids can, in the end, get an endorsement. So we have kind of the classes, but we're just tying them into each other so they can follow the path to get to the work-based experience and then getting an endorsement.
okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so my takeaway is the trade organizations provide
Yes.
the content, and then you teach from
That's how we've been
that.
using it,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a cost to the district for the content?
No.
No.
They're
I'm
happy,
looking for
they're happy
workers.
for us to do it because then we're preparing them more for people when they try to join their union or their labor
Sure.
shop.
Yeah.
I do too.
Seriously, had that one.
Right?
Any other questions? Hearing none, who would like to make a motion to approve the production tech and beginning electricity?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Kelly. Second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Schumacher,
Yes.
Tyson Search,
Yes.
Adam Hempkin.
Yes.
Andrea Corey.
Yes.
Kelly Moyer.
Yes.
Craig Meyer.
Yes. All right, next item is F, the first reading for the board policy 6-230 instruction library media.
Yeah, Dr. Gainey met with Mrs. Corey and Mrs. Moyer, and they reviewed some of the opt-out instructional information. And so administration recommends the board approve the first reading of the board policy 6-230, which is instruction library media as presented. And Dr. Gainey, do you want to go into the details of that?
Yes, so the recommendation is possibly removing number 5 on the policy, which a lot of surrounding districts have done. If you remove the number 5, it means that we're not adhering to the National Library principles and their Bill of Rights, which gives us more local discretion on the library media items that we are putting in our libraries. So I'm happy to answer any questions that I'm able to if you have any.
Any questions? All right, then we'd like to make a motion to approve the first reading of board policy 6-230.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Andrea. Second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Kelly. Roll call, please.
Tyson Search.
Yes.
Adam Hempkin.
Yes.
Andrea Corey.
Yes.
Kelly Moyer.
Yes.
Craig Meyer.
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher.
Yes.
All right. Last item for action is G, the second reading and approval of board policy press issue 117.
Yeah, and again, administration recommends the approval of the second reading of the press issue 117 as presented. There really was not much that stood out in this one, as far as, it's all just mainly
Housekeeping.
following up the legal changes that have happened.
All right, any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this press issue 117? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the second reading?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tyson. Roll call, please.
Adam Hempkin.
Yes.
Andrea Corey.
Yes.
Kelly Moyer.
Yes.
Craig Meyer.
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher.
Yes.
Tyson Search.
Yes.
Perfect. Concludes our business for this evening. Our next item is the discussion items. We'll start off with our facility study.
We are waiting for them to pour the slab of concrete. Mid-January is when the steel is supposed to arrive, and so we're told by the end of January and February, you'll really see that building pop up. I've had people comment to me at church or whatnot, asking if that big structure that's there right now is the elevator. That is the stairwell to that hallway. It is not the elevator. The elevator is actually going to be on the current building that's there on the end of the thing. But yeah, that's just a stairwell. So next month you should start seeing more of the structure pop up. But yeah, it's been, you have anything to add?
Nope, that's done, finishing up groundwork.
Exactly. I would kind of like to address what we talked about last meeting with the over budget. We really are not over budget, and I know it's semantics, but basically the costs were higher than we were expecting. So we've done I guess it sounds arrogant, we've done a really good job on maintaining costs. And so just to give kind of the public a little bit of idea, and I know there's a bunch of stuff going on Facebook, and I've never regretted not arguing on Facebook. I never thought I should have spent more time arguing with people on Facebook, so I just don't really do that. And a lot of things kind of were misinformation, and I just kind of wanted to set it straight. So, when we started this entire project, we evaluated a brand new high school versus everything else. A brand new high school, our numbers were $180 million to do that high school. So kind of take it down, we're looking at $50 million for what we're doing. So that's a huge savings overall for the district. In addition, we have our multi-purpose field that we can reuse. We have the greenhouse, we have the parking lot, we have the roads. A lot of that stuff we're reusing. So it made a lot of sense to do what we're doing. And also 2 years ago when all this started coming through and we had these ideas, inflation was a lot different back then. So just the inflation rate on our increase is what we're looking at for this deal. And also, so when we started all this project also, right now let's use round numbers, we're at 50 million what we're expecting. We kind of held them down, and every meeting they would say, well, we're creeping up a little bit. And Adam and I would say, no, we're not. We're going to go back down to that fee, that sum, because that's living within our means, and that's what we intended to do the entire time was live within our means. We don't want to raise taxes. We want to keep everything flat. We want to live within our means, but we want everything we want. So what we're trying to do is set up the district for the future. So we're trying to get all the infrastructure really done, so the things that we can't afford right now, we can easily add later on, so it's not a huge expense. And so we're white boxing a couple rooms and that sort of thing to make it done, to get that, achieve that goal. When our plans went over, the original estimate for the remodel was 78 million. I had to go back and look at my notes. So, I mean, we've cut a third of this budget already. So, again, living within our means. One of the deals we did is Adam and I actually, we took Post-it notes, and we said, you know, the original theater was gonna go over where the greenhouse was. So that means we're gonna have to tear down the greenhouse, rebuild it, we're gonna have to tear down the storage building, rebuild it, we're gonna have to redo the road. And we said, that's silly. We have this footprint that we can get all we want in the footprint. So we literally sat there with Post-it notes and said, let's put this here, this here, this here. We gave it all to the architects. So that's how we were able to get this price down to what we are. And the nice thing is, we didn't lose anything in the process. We just kind of made a better design. You know, we spend a lot of time at the school. We spend a lot of time with the staff, and we find out the input, and we find out what we need and what we need to do to accomplish these goals, and that's what we set out to do. The next thing, so phase one is pretty much done. It actually came at a little bit under what we expected, so we're in good shape there. Phase two was a little bit more than we expected, but we're gonna deal with it. Phase three, we kind of all think that the estimates that we're getting are ridiculous, and I'll just say it. I don't see any reason, but you know, we had a meeting yesterday. I guess it was. My days run together.
Sometime this week.
So Dr. Gainey, Dr. Grody, Adam, and myself, we sat down and we got the plans again. And we're going over it, and we're like, okay, well, how can we trim this money off? You know, we have these goals, and everybody's passionate about, you know, we're not going to compromise. We want what's best for the community. Dr. Gainey had some really good ideas that she has a great vision for the future, and, you know, it's nice to see the passion. Of course, Dr. Grody always has. And, but, so we then went over to the high school. We said, okay, where can we save some more money, and how can we do it? So we kind of went to the high school and we started brainstorming, and we came up with another plan. So, and I think this plan is actually going to be an improvement on the phase three. It's going to actually increase our spaces, and it's going to save some money. Now, the architects have to draw it, of course, but it's kind of a concept, so you know, it's if it goes through. But again, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and we're not technically over budget. We are, the estimates are coming in higher than we would like them to be. And so that's kind of what I want the community to really kind of understand. So that's my soapbox. But again, the reason we also had this conversation last meeting is because we adhere to the Open Meeting Act. We discuss everything in person, in public. We don't have private conversations, and we want to bring as much transparency to the community and to the board and everybody else, and let you guys know that, hey, these numbers came in higher than we'd like them to come in. So I know it's technically over budget, but again, I think it's semantics, but it's not a final number. And we are working hard, and Adam and I are stubborn, and we just are not giving in, and we want what we want at what we want,
So
the price. So
I will add, maybe it is semantics, but you know, it's not really over budget. It's the forecasted numbers are higher, but we're still within our budget to obtain the goal of being at a net zero or less tax. So I think that's where the difference is. The numbers are higher than original, but that doesn't mean that we're over budget and it's going to exceed the current tax cap, you know, or the current tax rate. That's ultimately where we're at. So, and as you know, Greg said, it's really, you know, inflation. You know, we're fighting it. We're doing this real-time bidding. We can't ask for 2 years ago numbers. You know, we could only forecast as much as we could. So, and yeah, that's why we're trying to find the most efficient ways to do these builds as we're doing them. So that's what the walkthrough yesterday was for. See if we can find some more efficient building methods, or, you know, reconfigure spaces differently that's more efficient so that it will cost less without sacrificing, you know, the end product. So
right.
Just rethinking some of the stuff to come up with an alternate solution. So,
But we're not giving up either. So we're going to stay at it, and we're going to get the job done, and we're going to live within our means. Like that's the thing I want the community to understand the most. Any questions? Sorry for the soapbox, but I just kind of felt it was important
That's
to
good. No, I think it
get that out
needs
there.
to be owed, that it's being talked about.
Exactly. All right, we'll go on to individual board member comments. Anyone?
I have one, whenever, we were talking about the ACT prep, just thinking in the future, next year, there was approximately 71 students that said either yes or maybe and as interested. That'll be a great use of the auditorium next year, won't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's college-style lecture, but you can fit
Yes.
all of them in one comfortable place where you have seats and, that's, I'm
Well,
looking forward to
everything's-
that.
Exciting times. All right, board president prerogative, you guys again heard way more than me than you probably deserved. So we'll eliminate that. We do have an executive session this evening for the purpose of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against the legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1, and also for student discipline cases pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C9. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Kelly. Second?
I'll second.
Lisa seconds. Roll call, please.
Andrew Corey.
Yes.
Kelly Moyer. Yes. Greg Meyer.
Yes.
Lisa Schumacher.
Yes.
Tyson Search. Yes. Adam Hempel.
Perfect. We're going to adjourn to executive session. As Dr. Grody alluded, there is no action items as a result. You're more than welcome to come back and watch us adjourn. But if you don't want to, we certainly understand, so. open session. No items for action as a result of our executive session this evening. All that's left is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Adam. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that concludes our meeting. Thank you very much. Have a good night.